Looking at this unit, this is the E Plus unit. We have coming in right here is the power. This is what we're going to have set up to power the device and demonstrate communications. The area right here is where we're going to see communications started with the 232, and then with the recommended RS485 converter. It's B&B Electronics. It's what Dynamic Flow Computers recommends for using RS485 converting. Okay, when you receive the unit from the factory, it's going to come pre-configured for a 232 configuration. Right now I've got a DB9 connector wired in to terminals 9, 11, and 12, or 9, 10, and 12 for RS232 communications. So I'm going to connect it in with the COM port on the computer. Once we've connected the RS232 COM port on the flow computer to the serial cable going to the PC, we're going to go through and do an auto detect. So using the tools menu, we're going to select COM settings, and from there we're going to verify the settings of the serial communications. In our case, we're going to be using COM port 1, as with most desktop PCs. Keep in mind, using a USB to serial converter, we can use upwards of COM port 20 to COM port 30. And if you need those COM port settings, be sure and check Device Manager for your application. We're also going to select the settings: baud rate 9600, parity none, data bits 8, stop bits 1, and the Modbus type is going to be RTU. Once we've verified those settings, we'll go ahead and click Auto Detect Settings. It's going to run through its baud rate selections, and notice it's going to stop on 9600 baud, and it's going to tell us device found. We want to verify also that we see Modbus RTU mode. That tells us that it has made a good connection. We'll then move over to the left side tab and click the Connect to Device button. Moving to the top right corner, we also want to verify the COM status is online and that we see the transmit and receive lights flashing red and green. That indicates that the unit is online and communicating. For the next step, we want to configure the device for the RS485. We first have to be online. So that's number one goal, is make sure that we've got the online green status. And then we're going to click the Communications tab underneath the Configure Device tab that's on the left hand side. It's going to bring up our computer port designation, and down on the bottom you'll see the RS232-485 selection. We're going to select item 1, which is RS485. Once we do that, we're going to click the Download to Flow Computer. Notice we saw the status bar across the bottom, and we'll click OK. And here in just 1 second we'll see that it loses communication with the flow computer. What that's indicating is now it's searching RS485, and it's not going to find the flow computer as it's currently set up with 232. We'll now grab our B&B Electronics converter and plugged into terminals 9 and 10. We'll hook up the converter and plug into our serial cable. I'm going to click offline and then connect to device. As soon as I connect to device, once again it goes online, and I see the transmit and receive lights flashing, indicating a good connection with our E Plus unit. Alright, once we've disconnected the RS232 cable, we'll now plug in our RS485 converter. Once again, it's B&B Electronics converter, going to terminals 9 and 10 with channels A and B on the converter. One note to be made is some computers, particularly laptops like Panasonic Toughbooks, don't always have port power. In those cases, you'll notice on the converter you see a plus 12 volt. Sometimes we have to wire 12 volts into the converter. In our case, we receive port power, so all we're going to do is connect to the DB9 connector on the serial cable going to the PC COM port. This concludes our troubleshooting video with RS485 communications. If you continue to have issues, feel free to call us here in the office, 281-565-1118. or email us at support@dynamicflowcomputers.com.